I'm selfish as fuck, so I wouldn't have no kids. Niggas get mad when I say this, but at least I'm honest. Cause right now, if it's between me and them, I'ma choose me every time. So that's why I wouldn't have no kids. If a lot of y'all would just be real with y'all self, it'll be a lot less broken families. No lie.
There was a time when having kids felt like the norm. People grow up, find a person, and then they pop out some babies. Dare I say, it was once the dream to get a nice house, get married, and start that family, since ideally that was supposed to be the path. But Gen Z is looking at the current state of the world. We don't got the money. Majority of Gen Z can't even find a suitable partner. Nevertheless, afford a home and then a future in this country, in this world? Yeah, most people don't gotta be a fortune teller to see it's gonna be a whole lot worse before it gets any better. I did not mean to rhyme.
The average cost to raise 2 kids comfortably, $233K a year. The cost to give birth, $20K. There's no free childcare, no free healthcare. You get no help. So many people don't have benefits. There's no paid time off, no sick leave. Give me one reason why anyone should.
And I'm not the first to say this. I don't think anyone is shocked that Gen Z is not rushing to have any kids. And Gen Z didn't give up on kids because we hate children. Some of y'all probably do, but we gave up because parenthood looks damn near impossible now. I knew from a young age kids were expensive, but let's crunch the numbers. Since the US fertility rate hit a record low back in 2024, and for 2025, births and the general fertility fell again, as Gen Z is either delaying kids, doubting kids, or rejecting the whole thing completely. But everything required to take care of a kid is mad expensive. You gotta feed the baby, shelter them, protect them, and one day pay for their college. People are already struggling to take care of themselves, even with jobs. So it's no surprise that asking any of us to soon take care of a whole human being is insane. No bullshit. If I had a kid right now, God forbid, although kids are a blessing, I'm cooked. I couldn't keep up with these uploads anymore. And many people now see financial security and financial freedom as major advantages of not being parents.
Listen to me when I say this. Do not have kids. I'm tired. I'm tired. Every day is something. I be wanting to give up everything. And it's just not fair to him at all.
Which has become more of a priority to most than continuing Gen Beta, Phi, Alpha, Pi, whatever. Older generations had problems too, but many still believe the future will get better. Gen Z does not have that same layer of faith. And it's really this age of social media we're in. We done seen schools turn to massacres, worldwide viruses, horrible politicians, and a horrible economy. Having kids has become more of a moral question of, do I want to bring a child into this? A lot of Gen Z are not just worried about their own lives, but worried about the future. And I'll be honest, I don't want Mini Slum Jr. to deal with right now, or any of this, since the future has been unstable for a good minute. So parenthood starts feeling less like hope and more like gambling with someone else's life.
In 2026, Gen Z just simply earns way less than it costs to survive. The average Gen Zer makes about $25K a year, which is around $21,000 a month, and spends basically all of it on bills or rent.
But let's talk about dating, since having kids usually requires some kind of stable partnership. And modern dating is dead at playing the lottery at this point. Nobody trusts anybody, and everyone has their own opinions to add about why dating is cooked, while still being emotionally unavailable or just scared to commit. A lot of people don't even want to get locked in because they're scared to feel trapped. But I know there's people out there who still want love, but those people who want love and might still want kids gotta ask themselves, with who? Because wanting a family and finding somebody safe to build a family with are two different things. In an unstable dating market, we don't need no unstable kids becoming unstable adults. On top of the fact that a lot of Gen Z watched adults have kids they were not emotionally ready for. Parents who were present financially but not emotionally present, or vice versa. Type of parents that tell you, oh, we got food and water, you ain't got nothing to complain about. Some of y'all got parents who stayed together and hated each other and still do. No shade. Some parents who use kids as trophies, therapists, or personal punching bags. I know we all had them times being compared to other kids for their accomplishments. More than you were compared to yourself, and you were still prepubescent. So now, of course, people are saying, I'm not gonna do this until I'm ready, because we're not trying to repeat generational trauma. Previous generations often framed children as legacy. They want to carry their name and bloodline, so anything they didn't do, their next generation can. But I'm gonna be real. Most of us don't give a Ain't no real legacy to be had if we don't collectively figure our shit out. And to be honest, a lot of people just don't want kids. Like, that's heavy. Just because I'm told to have kids don't mean I'm gonna have kids. Older generations love calling this selfish, but it's more selfish to have a child you can't even afford, or to have a child with someone you don't trust. It ain't selfish to admit you don't want that responsibility. The more selfish thing is having kids because society told you to have kids. And Gen Z been stopped doing what they was told to do a long time ago. Since having a baby you're not ready for will in some way cause resentment for that child for changing your life. Another Another weird part of the Gen Z not having kids conversation is how over-sexualized everything has become. Like, why is Sydney Sweeney the new seduction princess of this generation?
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Better yet, why is Megan Fox, Jennifer's body herself, back in the mix, doing the same thing?
Tired of having a stick that never quite works?
Everything now gotta be about body and desire, and maybe it always has been since the Marilyn Monroe days, but for the past few months they've been doubling down on their freakiness. And the irony is, we live in a culture that sells sex constantly, but actual intimacy feels harder than ever. When I made my series, The Generation of Lust, this was the exact issue I talked about. But Gen Z themselves aren't even having sex. So now you got a generation of gooners. No kids, just gooners. Making sex a marketing tool, which makes people stop being treated like actual human beings. So now your face is a product, and so is your body. And they could profit off your lack of relationships, or just your loneliness itself. A lot of us were raised in a world that taught us how to desire people before it taught us how to love people. We all know how to swipe and fantasize like some hornballs, but to actually build something and make the sacrifice to commit to something takes a layer of strength and risk that's hard to find nowadays. A family cannot be built on lust or even looking like the perfect couple. Like, you need real patience and trust to be mature enough to responsibly build something. And our culture does not really promote those values as much as it promotes pleasure, consumption, and overall bigotry. The consumerism culture just tells us to consume pleasure now, worry about meaning later. Gen Z absorbed that message whether we wanted to or not. We were sold a version of adulthood that was all about freedom, sex, and wilding the foul. But nobody prepared us for the parts of adulthood that actually creates families, like having discipline and knowing how to commit. And now we got a bunch of scared people in the worst economy of all time that are supposed to be the future parents, while a lot of us are still trying to unlearn everything the culture taught us. But if everyone gives up on kids, society changes. So we're gonna have an older population, more of the loneliness epidemic, with an actively shrinking family network. Fewer people having children would negatively impact the country, so this is not a good or a bad thing, but more like a warning sign. But the core issue is trusting the economy, the future, and even dating. Even trusting your own ability to parent well. And with the kindness I be seeing on a day-to-day basis, I'm not even shocked. Because when kids stop looking like the natural next step, but instead look like a financial burden or make you question your own morality, why would we? So this is not random. If a generation does not want to bring children into this world, that says less about the generation and more about the future they sold to us. We really didn't even give up on kids. We just gave up on the world being too unstable to have them.
Wow, that was so powerful. He was way too quiet. Like, bro, this is the type of shit you gotta deal with. Water on the floor. He put the cashews and water in a blender and poured it on a plate and missed the plate. And it's just not fair to him at all. It's not fair to me. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.